guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. How are you guys doing? My name is Dr. Gracie and I'm a medical doctor living in Nigeria. On my channel I do a lot of lifestyle vlogs. I also give a lot of educational tips and I talk about living as a doctor in Nigeria. In today's video I will be talking about life after housemanship, life after house job, life after internship. Okay, so like I've obviously said before, I have done a couple of videos about my housemanship, how to get into house job and everything. So right straight after medical school, after your 6, 7, 8 years of medical school, you finish and then you're given a provisional license to practice, and that provisional license isn't your permanent license. It's like a temporary license, right? Because you are not yet qualified to fully practice. Okay, so after medical school you get the provisional license, and then with that provisional license you get a job as a house officer. That's what we call housemanship, house job, internship, whatever you decide to call it. But basically you attend as a house officer, and then after house job or housemanship, the question is always like, what next can you do as a medical doctor? So once you're done with house job, right, you go through a clearance process where all the units you worked in will sign you up, and then you eventually submit your documents to the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, and then when they approve it, you pay some bills and you officially become a fully licensed practicing doctor, and then you officially become a medical officer. Yay! So that's like one step, so from house officer to medical officer. So with your permanent license as a medical officer, you are allowed to practice anywhere in Nigeria, and also you are eligible to move abroad and write some conversion exams to practice in their country. Okay, well, without your permanent license you can't really do that. So once you become a medical officer, like there's literally no pattern, there's no whatever, you're just like there, you're a medical officer. So while you're waiting for your NYSC, right, sometimes some people pick up what we call local jobs. Basically they work in various private hospitals that need doctors to fill up shifts and fill up places. So you can work in any private hospital, you can just cover a particular department, maybe pediatrics, ONG, surgery, medicine, depending on what you're interested in or depending on the opening in the hospital at that time. So you pick up those jobs and you just basically fill in spaces. You take shifts, like you work maybe 8 to 10 hours a day, or you can work 24 hours a day, or you can work 36 hours in a week. I don't know, you can work, it just depends on the work hours of the place. So while you're doing that, you can now start processing your NYSC stuff and where they'll post you to and blah 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 blah. So once you're done with house job and you become a medical officer, once you become a medical officer, you are licensed to now work anywhere, and then you now start actively working towards starting your NYSC. So NYSC is for 1 year, and usually within the time of housemanship and within the time of NYSC, it's advised that you write your exam called primaries to enter into the residency program in Nigeria. That is if you want to actually become a resident doctor, you want to go through postgraduate training in Nigeria. So this is when you now write that exam. So let's say I want to go into surgery, right, I would write what we call primaries for surgery, and when I pass, or if I pass, I have my primaries. And so anytime any government hospital or any private hospital is taking resident doctors, I can apply. But if I don't have my primaries, it's more difficult for me to apply because they are looking for resident doctors. So it's usually advised that maybe once you're done with house job, it's best for you to know what type of specialty you want to do, and then write your primaries and focus getting into that specialty, other than just hanging around and just becoming a random regular medical officer. Okay, so if let's say you have your primaries, or if let's say you don't even want to go through the residency program in Nigeria, there's also another career path in a lot of general hospitals or a lot of state hospitals, whereby you become a medical officer and you graduate or you progress through that level, or you gradually progress up, you just move up to the medical officer career. So the disadvantage of you being a medical officer is that you're not specialized in any particular place. That's the first thing. Secondly, like, you're not writing any exams, so you're not taxed mentally to read and to update your knowledge, just like the old regular stuff that you know. Third is that you'll never become a consultant, and you most likely never become an MD of like a government owned hospital. When I mean MD, I mean like a medical director. Yeah, so most times it's just advised that you go through the residency program Or if you don't want to, maybe stuff happens, you just don't get a residency spot and you decide to go through the medical officer career path, that is also very okay. So there are different stages. So I think the career path, you're promoted every 4 years. So you just do the normal regular civil service promotion exam. You're not writing the medical exams that would make you a consultant. Okay, so from like as you get employed as a medical officer in any government hospital, you move to the rank of senior medical officer, and then from senior medical officer you become a principal medical officer, and then from principal medical officer you become a chief medical officer. So that's like the highest rank. That's almost equivalent to the rank of a consultant. However, you are not a consultant. Yeah, so if you don't want to go through that pathway of becoming a medical officer in any government hospital, you can, and you want to become a resident doctor, you write your primaries in whatever residency program you want to get into, be it internal medicine, be it surgery, be it ophthalmology, be it any single thing, right? So you would write your primaries in that. When you get that, you look for openings into hospitals that accept doctors, or that are looking for doctors in that type of primaries that you wrote. And then when you eventually get your employment letter and your appointment letter, you start your journey as a resident doctor, right? So the first step when you get into residency program is you're a junior registrar. Okay, so you're a junior reg, and anytime you hear me say junior, just know you're a junior registrar, right? And then, like, depending on the residency program you're doing, maybe if it's surgery, if it is family medicine, if it is ONG, if it is pediatrics, they have in Nigeria they have a minimum of 4 years to become consultants, right? So let's just say it is surgery or let's just say it's ONG, whatever, right? So maybe you become a junior registrar, then after 3 years you write what we call your part 1, and then when you pass your part 1 you become a senior registrar, and then you are a senior registrar for like 3-4 years again, and then you write your part 2, and then you eventually become a consultant. When you become a consultant, you are officially and a properly recognized specialist in that particular field you have chosen. Me personally, if I'm to ever do practice in Nigeria, I would always want to do residency, because I feel like I'm more knowledgeable about, you know, various things. I'll be more updated, and it is a more direct career path, and I'll get to the peak of my career. I will not just, you know, be at a particular place and know I cannot advance because of certain things that have happened. However, it's not always everybody who wants to practice in Nigeria, so I would always advise that if you don't want to practice in Nigeria, during your house job NYSC years, this is the time when you put in all your efforts to start preparing to leave the country, if you want to leave the country as a doctor. So if, let's say, you want to practice as a doctor in the UK, you know, during your house job, you should write your IELTS, that's your English language testing examination, right? And then towards the end of your house job, you should have booked for your Plab 1, and before after you've written your Plab 1 and you've passed, then maybe within NYSC you can also book for Plab 2, depending on how much money you have, and then you move like that. Okay, so that once you're done with NYSC and hopefully you're able to pass out and you're able to get a job within 1 year of like interviews and all that, you can just move to the UK just after your NYSC. Okay, it's just more it's more straightforward, other than just hanging around and being confused about, oh, should I jump or should I not stay? Okay, it's not really what it's trust me. Yes, so that's just if that's what you want to do. So if you don't want that, if you want to practice abroad, okay, the best time for you to start planning is just during your house job and your NYSC years, so that you don't waste any time, you don't feel like, oh, you're too old to start in the new system, and it's just better because, you know, you're still very young, you're more malleable. But if you don't have the funds and everything, it's understandable when, like, you take your time and everything to move. If you definitely don't want to practice if you don't want to practice medicine at all, there are also things that you can do that you can, you know, use to change your career path. Maybe you can look into working for health related non-governmental organizations. You can obviously get a master's, you can go into education, you can start lecturing, you know, just depending on what you want to do, what your interests are. You can go into tech now, like you can just learn various certified courses online and just work with that. So depending on what you want, yeah, just go for it. After house job, there's really no path, there's no straight path. It's just like, okay, what do I want to do, what are my interests, blah 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 blah. The advice from every senior colleague would be like, make up your mind early, write your primaries, leave the country if you want to leave, any one of that. Make up your mind early and work towards a particular goal. Try to weed out a lot of thoughts and just move straight. Maybe if you start a residency program 1-2 years, you feel like, oh, this is not it, that is when you want to change. But if you start a residency program and you are enjoying it, even though it's very stressful and you're enjoying it, you can just work towards it, and you know that the end goal is to be a consultant. And when you become a consultant, you know, you can do other things and all that. Okay, so that's that for this video. I hope I've answered your questions. Every time people ask me, oh, I want to be a gynecologist, what should I study in medical school? It's not when you're in medical school that you would start your specialization program. It is after medical school, it is after house job, and it is after NYSC. That's if you're doing NYSC. But if you're not doing NYSC and you want to go abroad, it's when you go abroad eventually that you would start that specialty program. Okay, I hope this answers your questions, and I hope you guys are no longer confused. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask me. Okay, I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.